Hi everybody, this is Andreas here. Today we will be talking to Clive Loseby. He runs a company called Access by Design. He specializes in website design and everything that comes with it. So we wanted to just talk to him and find out how his journey has come so far, how he's come to this point in his life, what it took to get this company up and running. So over to you, Clive. Nice seeing you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me here, Andreas.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
You're more than welcome. I just wanted to ask you, how did you start off? How did it all come to that? Why website design? What did you do?
Okay, so I started out in music. That was my thing. I was a long-haired guitarist in a rock band.
Right.
I then ended up going to college. At college I studied all different styles of music, and that's when I discovered what I really wanted to do was be a composer for TV and film, which I relentlessly pursued for about 8 years. Got some great gigs, worked for Disney, Universal, BBC.
Okay, so you were successful in that arena?
On paper, yeah. In reality, you might go a year between each gig, so it's a very, very tough industry. I'm doing some teaching people how to write music for TV and film, which is a lot of fun at Northbrook College. That's still going. Okay. But it wasn't really for me. What my wife had become a digital artist. And she was quite famous on the internet, one of the earliest net artists, they're called. Okay. So. And she ended up doing a bit of teaching as well, and we thought, well, we're not really making a lot of money here.
Was it teaching?
Yes.
Was it sporadic teaching? Wasn't it full-time?
We both set up degrees in it. Mine was in writing music for TV and film. Jess's was in digital, was part of a fine art degree, and she taught a module in digital art. But it's okay, but it's not making real money. So we thought, let's start a business. What we do? Jess had been doing websites anyway for her art. I have a computer background. When I was writing music for TV and film, I used computers anyway, and I've always had that kind of interest. So we kind of started. Most people start businesses with startup loans or investments. We start with Apollo debt.
Oh, really? Okay. What, you maxed out on your credit cards and all that?
And that was before we started. So we thought, okay, start the business, and this was 11 years ago. Okay. We did our first website, and it actually was a directory website called Chichester One.
All right, okay.
And we thought, that's where we're going to make our money, and we might get a little bit of website design on the back of it. Actually, everybody wanted websites. So that's kind of...
So you morphed into that more?
Yeah, almost straight away.
All right, okay. So you started off with a Chichester One website, and then you got contracts from there, from other people saying... It was
all small websites for local businesses, 500 quid websites. That was the kind of market. We discovered... one of the things I haven't mentioned is that back in 1989, my wife and I were in a car crash. Right. A bad one. It left me with a lot of issues, and Jess was paralysed from the waist down. So she's a wheelchair user now. And that's one of the reasons why she became a digital artist. She'd always liked doing art, and being a digital artist on the internet, you're anonymous, so you're just viewed and judged for your art.
I see.
And actually it was really good, because last weekend we were up at the Tate Gallery in the Oxo Tire by the Tate Modern. Wow. Because she's the finalist in the National Open Art Competition, so that was kind of nice, and so she's doing
very
stuff.
Nice. Nice recognition, huh?
Yeah, and she's had a lot of health challenges this year, but she got the piecing, and she's awesome. So back to the websites, that kind of started just Jess and I, and it was quite successful. We got a lot of businesses, and we grew quite quickly. We began to take on people working from home. It got bigger and bigger and bigger.
What kind of period are we talking about? 2, 3, 4 years?
We're talking between 2007 up to about 2011. Okay. 2011, we had 5 people working at home. I was in my studio, which I was still in, that had all the music gear in there. And it was okay, but it was too manic. We had 3 young kids, and it was visitors coming around. It was just chaos. So we moved, that year, 2011, we moved into an office. Down the road, expanded the business hugely, took on extra people. So I had 3 designers, an office manager, a copywriter, and then me doing the selling, and a very expensive office, and it was the wrong year to expand.
Just the beginning of the recession, wasn't it?
It was the worst year to expand. But the reason we expanded is that January 2011, this thing called responsive design came out. Right. Now, most people know about it now. It's the idea that you have a website that redesigns itself for a mobile and a tablet.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Before then, you had mobile sites and desktop websites.
And there were 2 individual...
And switched between the 2. And they were separate websites. Right. When we started the company, obviously accessibility is important to us because of Jess being in a wheelchair. And what she discovered is that when we started the business, websites were really inaccessible.
I see.
And so we kind of came up with the name Access by Design. When we started the company, Jess was looking at all these standards, and the standards for doing this stuff has all been written down in 1999. They're called the World Wide Web Consortium made some standards like building regs, and then what are called the W3C guidelines, which are for accessibility.
Yeah.
All of these things came out in 19, and they said, look, if you build your website and you follow these standards, it will meet the needs of everybody. They're quite difficult to do, which is why most people don't do them. Right. Jess being Jess said, right, we're going to do this properly. We brought them all in, and so every website we built was fully accessible. Jumping back forward to 2011, with responsive design coming out, what we did is we combined it with our accessibility, created something called responsive accessible design, and for me, we had a world first.
Yeah.
I thought vast riches were just around the corner, so that's where we expanded, and we had an office, and we needed to move out of the home anyway. We took on extra people, and that was the worst year to expand, because the bottom line was that this whole responsive thing was all a bit confusing for people. They didn't really get it. They didn't think that mobiles would take off in the way that they have.
I see. So there wasn't really a defined market then for that kind of
I knew the
product.
market was there, but it was not. It was too early.
Yeah.
And like as you said, it was recession, so people had no money anyway.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to risk it on some newfangled thing called responsive design.
Okay.
So we did. Anyway, I just marched on seamlessly, regardless, because I knew it was going to be the way we're going to go.
Yeah.
But it was the worst year to do it, and at the end of the year we had to downsize.
Yeah.
Slunk back home and tail between my legs, downsized the business.
Yeah.
And then started to, over the next few years, started to build up again.
Did you manage to get out of the contracts and everything you were in, was office, etc., and all that?
Yeah, the landlord was a really nice guy, and he was really understanding, because but the thing is, when you've been in business a while and things go wrong, you think you're the only person it's happened to.
Yeah, but actually.
But when you talk to people, particularly people that you got a good relationship with, and been around a while, they've been there too, and they tell you your own horror stories. 2015, we won the award, the Chichester Business Awards for product innovation.
Great.
And we were done. It was done in recognition of being quick off the mark back in 2011, and doing it consistently ever since. Every website we've ever built has gone through 82 checks. It's back to these standards. Yeah. We even now.
Why 82 checks and not 83?
It's 82 at the moment. It might be 83 next week.
Is it standards and checks that you make up yourself?
We've always done it. Do you remember I talked about these standards back in 1990?
Yes.
That's part of it.
I see.
But we do a lot of stuff on top. For example, we still check our browsers work in Internet Explorer 7, even though that's 12 years old.
Yeah.
Why? Well, they're still in use in the NHS.
So these 82 checks are really there. That's your own quality standards.
Yeah. About 4 years ago, Google started taking accessibility very seriously. Up till then, I just spent my time talking about saying this is a really good thing to do. Disabled people got 80 billion to spend every year. This is a market you want to be part of. But it would spend forever explaining it all. When Google started taking it seriously, it became much easier. And my stock phrase now is, Google is blind. If your website works for blind people, it will work for Google.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah, I am.
And people get that, because that line or that phrase condenses months of knowledge, years of knowledge about accessibility.
So to keep it simple, so if a website has just pretty photos but no text explaining the photos, Google won't recognize it?
No. And jumping back though to winning the award, we're thinking
2015?
Yeah, and we thought, fantastic, that's going to work really well for us. In reality, we're still in a recession, people have still not got any money, so what we did, let's reevaluate, and we took one of our bespoke websites and we turned it into an off-the-shelf product. Okay. So suddenly, our website, which has passed its 82 checks, is a template that people can buy into for much more of the 500 quid, starting at £500 price.
And they're populated themselves?
Well, we called it Run Your Own Website. And the reason we called it Run Your Own Website is that people actually don't like starting with blank sheet of paper. That's, if they did, we'd call it Build Your Own Website. Okay. 99% of our clients have paid us to build it for them.
Right. So you just focus on sales and trying to get the
sales
bigger
and running the company. So we're looking where the vision is for the future.
And where is the vision for the future?
Okay, so the next part of what we're doing is we're going to take Run Your Own and we're going to franchise it.
Okay.
And we're going to offer it as and I'm actually just about, in the new year, I'm going to be recruiting my first 10 people who are interested in coming on board and actually white labeling.
As franchisees?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they'll be able to buy into it, and then they'll be able to go and build sites for people, because the same thing, you can do them quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what people want. And they want something quick but done properly.
Quick and high quality.
Yeah, yeah. So which is the kind of, you don't often get both together.
No.
So that's where we're going to look at developing the future, and which we're really excited about.
Absolutely. And if there are 3 tips that you would give to other business owners that are running a similar
other web designers.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, we're not sitting on a secret.
Okay.
The standards for web standards, they're called, have been out since 1999.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 slots, WCAG,
yeah.
That's to do with accessibility.
Yeah.
W3C, that's to do with coding standards.
Okay.
That's just the beginning of it. But all the information you could ever want to know about accessibility and build quality is all out there.
Yeah.
So there is no secret we're sitting on. It's just that not many people seem to do it to the standard that we do.
Right.
So I guess the bottom line I would say to anybody is do it properly. Don't cut corners. Learn how to code the sites. If you buy a template, you're constrained by the build quality of that template.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Learn how to do it properly. All the stuff you'll ever need to know is out there, and that way your clients will be happier because they're not coming back to you with problems.
No.
And therefore they're happy in telling other people. So that's the first thing I would tell somebody. The second thing I would do is to make sure that you understand what the client wants.
Mm-hmm. So listen carefully.
Yeah, it's a bit more than that. I mean, with the bespoke sites, we have a brief that our clients have to fill in, and it actually goes back to when I was a composer. Because I once was talking to a director, and I said, and it was hard to break in. The directors have their own composer, and I said, why is it so hard to get in? And he said, the thing is, being a director, they're in control of the lighting, the script, the actors, the budgets, everything. They have got their hands and they've got full control. But when it comes to music, unless they're a musician, it's absolutely out of their remit. They don't understand.
No.
So when they're taking on a composer, they're trusting them to deliver. But the composer has to understand what they've got.
Trusting you to deliver their vision.
So when I worked for Universal, it was a great project, and we worked with a violinist and did some crazy stuff. And to do that, it was quite hard to get into the director's head because he wasn't a musician. So you'd kind of come up with ideas and go back and develop it. So it was from that background I understood the importance of understanding and getting into the director's head. It's not about what we know works as a website, it's about what they
understanding your client.
So therefore the second tip I would give to somebody is make sure that you understand what they want and understand what they're going to get.
Okay.
Because otherwise there's no point in you building a website and they say, well, that's not what I expected.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, advice I would give, and I would give to any business owner or somebody starting business, is never ever give up. Ever. If you believe in what you do, don't give up. Just keep going. No matter what everybody tells you to do, go and get a day job, go and do this, go and do that. If you believe and you're passionate about what you do, you stick to it. You stick to it and you stick to it. And until either it doesn't work at all, or actually you begin to see some benefits from it.
Which has happened.
And we're now, well, the thing is, we're now in a position where we've got a product that we can expand. We've got a fantastic relationship with our hosting company. They now have taken care of that side of things, so that we don't have to deal with the technical issues. We concentrate on business development, building great websites. The company we work with do some large-scale hostings facilities, and they give 24/7 support. So that kind of means that that side of it is taken care of, and we can just focus on what we're always being passionate about.
Brilliant, brilliant.
So,
well, thank you very much for your time, Clive. Much appreciated.
It's so nice to talk to you, Andreas.
So, guys, hopefully you got something out of that. And watch the next interview for more tips on how to run a great business. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.